And love you more. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, this is my story. All my life you have been faithful. This is my song. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, surrender now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. All my days, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. The Lord our God is ever faithful. He's never changing. Through the ages, from this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we will say, you're the Lord our God. The Lord our God, He's faithful and never changes. Through the ages, yeah. Rely on you for every moment. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever. He is the friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Goes before me, stands behind. Stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side. You're by our side. You've never left. We thank you, Jesus. We trust you, God. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. I love you, Lord, my strength. I love you, Lord, my shield. And I love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, hallelujah. To you, God, we trust you in any season. You're there with us. We trust you, God. Come on, let's sing this together. Sing hallelujah. 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 With everything inside of me, yeah, I raise a hallelujah. And I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah. In the middle of the mystery, yeah, I raise a hallelujah. See the cross you hold on me. Oh, I'm gonna sing. In the middle of the storm, louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Don't be lost, death is defeated, the King is alive. Oh, I'm gonna say, middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. From the ashes, open your eyes. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Even when I don't see it, even when I don't feel it, you're even when I don't see it, you're yes, God, you're always working. Come on. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. That is who you are. That's who you are. That is 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 who you are. You're working, even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop pressing out. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. He's the one who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, well, happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. And welcome to Birmingham Bible Church's Winning Wednesday. Good afternoon, Birmingham. Good morning, wherever you are watching us from. So glad that you have decided to join us here on today. And this is a time whereby we have great speakers that present great topics that are for your life and for your living.
And so we realize how important it is not only to get to heaven, but also to know how to live here on this earth. And so that is the goal of what Winning Wednesday is all about. So thank you so much for your fellowship. We have some great information on today. So we just ask that you share this broadcast with someone that you know. Make sure you tell somebody, make sure you text somebody. Make sure you tap someone on the shoulder with your mask on, that is. And so you can get this great information out. We love to present all these great topics that are here to educate you, to empower you just in every area of your life. And so our theme for Birmingham Bible Church this year, of course, it is 2022. It is the year of new beginnings. It is actually the 8th year that Birmingham Bible Church has been in existence. And so we give God praise for that. So this month, we want to give you some information to help get you in the mindset of creating new things. And so we realize that before we can even have a new mindset. Pastor Mason said this on Sunday. Before we can get ready for the new, we have to get rid of the old. And so our speaker for today is going to help us get our mind right for the new year, because our mind shapes how we feel, how we think, and how we behave. And so we like to welcome Dr. Samuel Chan. He is a great person. He has had a major impact on our lives, Pastor Mason's life. So we just ask that you get ready to hear him, to receive him, as he helps us to get our mind right for this new year. Hello, Dr. Chan.
How are you, Lady Pam?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us here on today and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Well, we're all busy and we do what we want to do. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So of course, people are making resolutions. They having vision board parties, and later on this month, we even have people talking about helping us have a new body and new relationships and new credit. But we realize something, that everything starts with the mind. I don't care what you plan on doing this year. It starts with your mind. So tell us how we can have or how we can develop a new mindset for this year.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to serve. I'm looking forward to this conversation today. A new mindset does not start from the inside, it comes from the outside. So I think you have to, first of all, say to yourself, what am I taking in? Because what you take in creates your mindset. So, for example, the TV channel you watch is creating your mindset. What you're reading, creating your mindset. If you're watching us talk today or listening to us talk today, you're creating a mindset. So mindsets come from the outside. The Bible talks about renewing of your mind, and the renewal of your mind does not come from the inside, it comes from the outside. So the big challenge is, who are the voices in your life? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? How are you thinking about your life? Because if you were to listen to the news all day long, depending which channel you're listening to, you'll be like that. You'll be like that. And many of our people that we talk to are like that, whatever that means for you. They are like that because what they're taking in. For example, what you take in a diet will determine your physical body. What you take in money from the outside will determine your quality of life and the options that you have. So it's just a matter of understanding what you do control. And so you got to ask yourself, first of all, what am I taking in? Where is it coming from? Why am I drawn to these negative voices or these positive voices? Why am I reading this and why am I doing that? So those kind of things are part of what we are doing. But today, I want to talk about not about resolutions, but about goals, about goals. And so let me give you two things before disclaimers or claimers before I get started in my notes. I've got 4 pages of notes sitting in front of me right now that I have created just for this. Most of this I've never taught before. So this is fresh material. Number one, I'm not trying to teach you anything today. I'm trying to start conversations today. That simply means this, that I'm going to give you a ton of information, but that information is not for information's sake. So if you are a department leader on your job, you're a CEO of your company, you're an executive director of an organization, you're working in the church, doesn't matter where your life is, I want to give you enough information so that you'll say to yourself, I'm going to use this information for my next meeting. So I'm going to give you so much information. I'm going to set you up for the next 3 to 6 months, if you have the appetite for that. Some of you may not have the appetite for that. Some of you might have the appetite for that, but I'd much rather you have those groceries and not use them than to have the groceries and need them, not have them in front of you. Second thing is, I'm going to focus my goal setting on people who serve the church. Now, everything that I'm going to say is going to be transferable to the corporate arena. It's going to be transferable to entrepreneurs, to businesses. But I want to focus my time and energies this morning, especially on how goal setting happens in the church. So here we go. You ready to jump in? Here we go. Number one, churches set goals in 3 areas. Churches set goals in 3 areas. Now, there's a difference between goals and plans. Goals are the what, plans are the how. So goals are the what, W-H-A-T. Goals are, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to accomplish. Here are the impacts that we want to make. That's the goal. The plan is, how are we going to do that? And we'll get to that in a moment. So churches have goals, set goals in 3 areas. Businesses set goals in 3 areas. So I'm going to talk about businesses and church, but I'm going to focus on the church. Number one, churches and businesses focus on personal growth of staff, of team members, of volunteers, personal growth. Because if you're not growing, then your department cannot grow. If you're not growing, your business cannot grow. Your business is where it is because of where you are. It's as simple as that. So people call me in, I'm a consultant, I'm a leadership consultant. I have clients literally all over the world, multi-billion-dollar clients, multi-million-dollar clients, all kinds of clients. And I'm here to tell you, your business, your church is where it is because of you, the leader. It's as simple as that. So nothing is, you're the ceiling. So if your ceiling is not rising personally, so I ask people for what I call their personal development plan. So when I go into a church, when I go into a corporation, they want me to help them create plans. And I say to them, no, you got to have a personal development plan. How are you going to grow physically? How are you going to grow financially? How are you going to grow emotionally? How are you going to grow relationally? How are you going to grow in your thinking? How are you going to grow in your personal life? Because if your personal life is growing, then everything around you will grow as well, because you create the environment. So that's number one, personal growth. Number two is corporate growth. Corporate growth, for example, in a church, corporate growth goals would be something like reach more people in the community. Another one would be increase worship attendance. Another one would be develop and train more leaders. Number 4 might be increase financial resources. Because the Bible says without a vision, people perish. I'm here to tell you, without money, your vision will perish. It takes money. Ministry, salvation is free, but ministry is expensive. Everything takes money. What we're doing right now takes money to get it out. Money on my side of investing in studio, money on your side, investing in the studio, money on you creating the wherewithal for people to get it. Number 5, increase financial giving to missions. I think that's got to be a goal. One of my client churches this year alone are going to give away $10 million to missions, home and abroad. But that does not just happen. That happens because there's a leader who has a heart for missions, who promotes missions, who says, I'm going to get my people to get behind that. Otherwise, all you're going to do is raise money for mortgage and ministry at the local level. But what are you doing for missions? Number 6, connect more people to people in the church. Because in these times when we have been remote, people have not seen each other. So how do we connect people to people? I think that's a really, really big goal, to make sure that people are, and I'm not talking about just Facebook, that's important, but how are people talking to each other? Do people know about each other? Number 7 on my list is corporate growth is discipleship. I'm finding out that churches have done really good at evangelism, but done poorly on discipleship. So you remember when Jesus said that you may bring forth fruit, that is evangelism. But then he goes on to say that most churches do not talk about is that your fruit should remain. That is discipleship. So what did Jesus do? The first thing, if you look in Luke chapter 6, he starts getting disciples together, because he knew that when he exited this planet, which is in Acts chapter 1, when he took off back to heaven, it was going to be disciples who are going to do that. So evangelism is good, but discipleship is what is going to create sustainability. Number 8 on my list is creating a healthy culture, a healthy culture that promotes growth. So that's corporate growth. And then number 3 goal that churches have is what I call departmental growth. So how is each department contributing to the whole? Because every department is connected to each other. Therefore, one department's deficiencies can affect the entire organization. For example, I'm going to use a tangible example. Let's think about your facilities. Or if people are not keeping it clean, or your IT department. So right now we are utilizing technology. So if technology was not functioning optimally, we would not be doing what we're doing. Children's ministries. Let's talk about volunteers. Who is really shepherding the volunteers? Because the question is, people are busy. So you and I get paid to do what we do. Pastor gets paid to do what he does. Staff gets paid to do what they do. But a volunteer has a life, has a job, has a business, has a family, and on top of that, they give you their most precious commodity, which is time, without getting paid. So who is really pastoring them? Who loves the volunteers? Who knows their birthdays and their anniversaries? Who is keeping up with what's going on in their life? Who's caring for them? Because customer service does not begin by customer service outside. You got to do internal customer service before people can do external customer service. So who is really taking care of them? So that's my first point. My first point is churches set goals in 3 areas: personal, corporate, and departmental. Second thing, I have a question for you. What are you responsible for? So if you're listening to me, I'm going to ask you, what are you responsible for? Not what your job is, not what you do, but what are you responsible for? Let me say it another way, help you understand that. What would be the gap? What would be missing if you did not accomplish your responsibilities? So in my previous life, I used to be a janitor. So as a janitor, I have to ask myself a simple question. If I did not do my job, so if you ask me what's your job, I'd say I clean facilities. Well, that's your job. But my responsibility, if I did not do my job, it's not that I clean. The working conditions would not be conducive to productivity. That the culture of the place would be affected by trash and litter. That if I was in a church and it was not clean, doesn't matter how good the preaching is and the worship is, people are going to stop coming. Because nobody wants to go to a nasty restroom. Nobody wants to walk into a room with wrappers still on the floor and nail clippings and in chairs. Church folk are messy. I mean, they come and they really create a mess. So if you ask a janitor, what do? They'll say, I clean. But the question is not what do you do? The question is, what are you responsible for? So if I was to go to the children's ministry and say, what do? I do children's church. No, 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 no. You're responsible for shaping young minds. You're responsible for pouring the Lord into them. You are responsible that they get saved at the earliest age. That their testimony will not be that God brought me out of crack cocaine, that God brought me out of promiscuity, that God brought me out of drugs and alcohol, that God brought me out of prison. That is wonderful when God does. But I think a children's pastor, a children's director has to say, I'm going to change their testimony. They will never have that testimony. Their testimony will be that God saved me early on while I was going to church, and I never had to go through all of that. God kept me from all of that. God built hedges around all of that. So as a children's pastor, what you don't do children's church. No, that's not what you are responsible for, is to lead children to the saving grace and knowledge of Jesus Christ at the earliest age so they can get baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit, start serving the Lord, and become volunteers in the church even before they're teenagers. That is what you do. Let me go to number 3. A question I have for you is, what is the difference between an owner and an employee? An owner and an employee. There's a big difference. I remember I was a friend of mine, pastor of a very large church in South Africa. He pastors a church in California right now. And we were in South Africa today, staying at a great hotel attached to a mall in Johannesburg. And all of a sudden, a new appointment showed up on his calendar that he was not planning on, and he needed some shoes to go along with whatever clothes he was going to wear. Well, he was quite particular about his shoes. So this is a huge mall in Sandton, and there's the financial district of Johannesburg. And there we are looking for shoes, beautiful stores, gorgeous places. And we're going from store to store. And he could not find the exact shoe that he's looking for. He had a picture of a brown shoe with some stuff going on the toes. And he had a picture in his mind what the shoes wanted to look like. It got later and later and later. And as we were going to the mall, stores are closing now. Stores are closing. We come upon a store that is closed. The door is locked. The shutters are down. There's a sign in the window that says closed. But in that window was sitting the shoe of his dreams. He sees the shoe. He's got to get that shoe. So we go to the window, both of us, we're going like this, looking in the window, and we see some movement back there. We see somebody moving back there. So we knock on the door. This person raises the shutter, opens the door, and asks us, can I help you? He says to her, that shoe in your window, if that's in my size, I want to buy that. She says to us, come on in. Absolutely. Let me see if I have that. And she started waiting on us as if she had all the time in the world. I looked at her and said, ma'am, can I ask you a question? My guess is that you own the store. You don't work here. She said, how did you know? I said, because an owner is the only one who would open the door for us. An employee would have said, hey, I've been waiting to go home all day. I'm ready to check out. Hey, listen, we open tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Come back tomorrow. But an owner is not an employee. So my question for everyone who's listening to me right now, if I was to observe you, would I see you as an owner? Or would I see you as an employee? I talk to pastors, especially all the time, and they say things like, well, why don't they see it? I see it all. I see that need. Why don't they see it? because they're an employee. If they were an owner, they would see it. And I think that's a huge question going into 2022. Are you going to take ownership, or are you going to be an employee? Are you going to own it, or are you going to rent it? Let me say something about success. Success is only available to people who have a different mindset. They have a mindset of being an owner, not an employee. So I'm talking to you right now. I'm on your ecosystem. I'm on your digital footprint. It is not mine. It does not carry my name. It doesn't carry my church. I don't have a church, so it doesn't carry my organization's name. It does not carry me. But my head is saying right now that I have to behave like an owner, not a guest. Because as an owner, I'm saying to myself, this is important. This matters. It's not just another winning Wednesday. This is the first Wednesday of 2022. So before I move on to the next question, ask yourself this question. Where I work, my business, my church, where I volunteer, would people say she, he acts like an owner? Or would they say she, he is an employee? Let me go to the fourth thing. So when you're setting goals, you have to ask yourself 4 questions. 4 questions. I'm going to give you all 4 questions, and then I'm going to climb back up into that ladder and explain each one of those 4 questions. So I'm going to give you all 4. I'm going to say it at least 2 times, because if you're writing it down, you can get it. You know, if you're driving, keep driving and listen to this on demand again. But here are the 4 questions. And these questions are good for church. They're good for business. Here we go. Question number 1, where are we? Where are we? Question number 2, where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? Question number 3, what and who is in the way? What and who is in the way? Question number 4, how do we get there? How do we get there? Let me talk about each one of them individually for a little bit. Remember what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you 6 months worth of discussion with your teams, 6 months worth of staff meetings, 6 months worth of departmental meetings, 6 months worth of thinking it through. So I'm not just giving you a one-off thing. I'm good for 6 months if you want to take it that way. Question number 1 is, where are we? This is where we are assessing ourselves. Are we in growth? Are we in decline? Are we in plateau? You got to know where you are. Where are we? If you go to a mall and you're looking for a store, you come to the directory, the digital directory in the middle of the mall, and it has a star and says, you are here. The question for you is, where are you? Where are you? Where are we? You got to assess yourself, because momentum only comes when you understand where you are. Where are we? Where are we? Now, don't try to glorify it. If you're in decline, you've got to admit, I'm declined. Don't try to, don't give me the spiritual jargon like, well, God is leading me through a valley right now. I'm not listening for that. I'm listening for, I'm in a valley. Well, God is going to bring me through. I'm going through a difficult time. I get that. What I'm looking for is, I'm in a difficult time. Because reality is your best friend. Reality is your best friend. So where are we? Number 2 question is, where do we want to go? Your aspirational goals. Where do we want to go? And you got to be clear about that. Not things like, well, I'm waiting for the Lord to show me. No, the Lord's already shown you. You are looking for him to give you something else. Whenever people say, I'm waiting on the Lord, 9 times out of 10, Lord's already shown them where they need to go. They didn't like it. And now they're waiting for him to come back with plan B and C. He's already He's already told you where you need to go. So where do you want to go? So when you have a GPS, the GPS asks you two questions, only two questions. Where are you? Where you want to go? If you don't give that information to a GPS, does not matter how sophisticated it is, it cannot get you there. So if you said GPS, no, I'm not going to give you my location, it can get you there. If you say, I cannot tell you where I want to go, because the GPS wants you to take you to that certain specific point. Now, I live in Atlanta, you all are in Birmingham. I can put in my GPS Birmingham, and I'll take I-20 west out of Atlanta, and it is going to get me to Birmingham. But Birmingham is a big place. The GPS wants to know, where do you want to go in Birmingham? You want to go to a certain church? Well, you got to put their address in there, the name in there. You want to go to a certain restaurant? You got to put their address, the name in there. You got to tell me where you want to go. So question number one is, where are we? Question number two is, where you want to go. Question number three is a tough question that people do not want to answer. But if you're not brutal about assessing your present and future challenges, you won't get there. Here's question number three, if you missed it the first time. What and who is in the way? So what could be money? What could be facilities? What could be time? What could be education? What could be where you are right now? But the more important question is, who is in the way? And usually it is the who that is the toughest question to answer. You might have an employee that you need to let go. Who's in the way? Who's got a bad attitude? Let him go. Who's in the way? Somebody who's a naysayer, a negative person, pessimistic person. They are always raining on the parade. Who is in the way? Once you are brutally honest about what and who's in the way, then you can get to the fourth question, which is, how do we get there? Your concrete plans. So next time you are wanting to accomplish a goal, ask those four questions in that given order. Don't get in a hurry to put a plan together as to how to get there. So here are the four basic questions. You ready? Number one, what needs to get done? Number two, who will do it? Number three, when will it get completed? And number four, how will it get done? What, who, when, how? What, who, when, how? So let me talk 30 seconds on each one of those. What needs to get done? You got to be specific about what needs to get done. If there's no clarity on the what, don't say to somebody, hey, can you go in that room and set up chairs? And if they set up chairs facing the wrong direction, it's not their fault. If they set up chairs in rows rather than in circles, it's not their fault. Because what you said to them was, go set up chairs in that room. So people say things like, well, do I have to draw pictures? And my answer is, of course you do. Because a picture on a napkin will keep your blood pressure down, give them clarity. Because why do you want people to guess what's inside your head when you can tell them what's inside your head? So I'm just using that one example. When you say to them, go set up chairs, you say to them, go set up chairs, have them facing the whiteboard, and put them 4 rows with 6 chairs in every row. Just that much specificity will keep you from having a conniption, will give them clarity, and the job will be done like you want it done. So what needs to get done? Number 2, who will do it? Who? I didn't say who all, I said who. Because when it becomes everybody's responsibility, it becomes nobody's responsibility. So who? You got to define who. Because if it doesn't get done, you need to know who you're going to kill. So, yep, you got to know the who. Number 3 is the most important. When? When will it get completed? Don't say things like ASAP, because I've learned this, that mine as soon as possible is always sooner than they're possible. So don't you got, when will it get completed? It'll get completed on January 31st. Good. Then I can put that in my calendar. I can hold you accountable for that. You can give me updates in the meantime. When will it get completed? Number 4, how will it get done? That's where the plan is. How will it get done? So before I give you my conclusion, I want to give you 6 steps in goal setting and accomplishments. And I remember, I'm giving you 6 months worth of stuff here. So this is not a one-off little webinar that we're doing here. You can take this and chop it up and use it once a month with your staff, with your department, with your church, with your volunteers, with your team, whoever, whatever you're doing. So here we go. 6 steps. Step number 1, you got to have specific goals. What is your goal? What is your goal? Step number 1, write it down. What is your goal? Write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. Aren't you glad we have the Bible? Because somebody wrote it down. Write it down. Number 2, second step is the benefits of the goal when achieved. If this goal is achieved, here are the benefits. Because remember this is sales 101. Nobody buys a product, everybody buys a benefit. You don't buy that vacuum cleaner, you buy the benefit of the vacuum cleaner. You don't buy that crock pot, you buy the benefit of the crock pot. So nobody buys a product, everybody buys a benefit. So number 2, so first is goal. Number 2 is benefits of the goal when achieved. Number 3, so what's your action plan? Action plan, and it needs to include contingencies for challenges. We all know that it's going to cost more and take longer. If you ever had a project done at your house, doesn't matter what contract they give you, it's going to cost more and take longer. If they say we can install these windows next week, it's going to be 3 weeks from there. And they're going to come back and say, when we took this window out, we did not know there was rot behind the window. So we got to replace the wood behind the window, and that'll be another $250. So you got to have an action plan that built-in contingencies for challenges. Number 4 is the phases of the plan. Phases. So take your plan and cut it up into phases with timelines, end dates, etc. You phase it out. Otherwise, it'll overwhelm you. Number 5, you have to answer this question. What will be different when I achieve that goal? What will be different when I achieve that goal? Because that gives you the why. And finally, number 6 is accountability. Accountability. Accountability is when you have assessments done there. So Lady Pam, I have a concluding statement. I want to give your listeners a gift. But in the meantime, if you want to have a question, let's do that. And then give me a moment to conclude and tell people about the gift.
No, Dr. Chan, that was so much great information. As I was listening to you, what you was given, of course, I know you had it geared toward churches and corporations, but even a personal level, if somebody is, if their goal is to write a book, I mean, there's even things, the steps that you brought out for that, specific goals, just the benefits of the goals, even for your family. Where are we trying to go? This was great. I do not have any questions on that. No, this was great. Thank you so much. So go ahead and tell us about your products and tell us about even your website, how people can connect with you.
Well, my product is free. So I have a gift for you. So everyone I'm listening to is a leader. On this cover, you'll see Pastor Mike Todd out of Tulsa Transformation Church. What a great church, the fastest growing church in America right now. And so what we are doing is we have created a leadership journal, 5-color. You can get it in hard copy, and I think you told me you all get that at your home every quarter. And what's going to happen, you can get it digitally as well. I'm going to give you a website in a minute. All you guys sign up. This comes out every quarter. It's about 150 pages long. It's Christian leadership, good for corporate and church and home. And what you can do is you can sign up for it. You'll get the next 4 issues free of charge. Next 4 issues free of charge. One thing I will guarantee you about this journal, this leadership journal, you will not throw this one away. It looks beautiful, feels beautiful, got so much content in it that's for you and for your company and for your church to teach and grow. So here's the website for that. availjournal.com. availjournal.com. And I think Lady Pam is going to drop it in the chat section or whatever, however they do that. availjournal.com. All you got to do is go there, give us your information. If you want it digital, it'll come to your email. If you want it hard copy like this, like your pastors get in their home, you can do that. It'll come in your mailbox, 150 some pages, 5-color, glossy Christian leadership. availjournal.com. If you want to know more about what I do, you can do that. samchand.com. That's my name. samchand, SAMCHAND.com, samchand.com. You can find out about my Leadership Institute. Leadership Institute is, I got a great deal there. So this was free. Leadership Institute is, now listen to this, it is whatever you want to pay. How cool is that? Whatever you want to pay. And what you get for that, it's a 12-month program. You get a book a month, one of my books every month. You'll get 3 videos that teach that book every month. At the end of it, you'll get a certificate of completion from the Sam Chand Leadership Institute. All that for whatever you want to pay. So we used to retail it for $2,000. We've had people in Zimbabwe and Liberia and Togo and different countries pay $1. And they get, for that $1, they got 12 books. They got about 50 videos. They got a certificate. So we are not going to ask any questions. So if you go to, and let me give you the website for that, samchand.com/COVID, COVID. samchand.com/COVID. And Lady Pam, what you can do, you can play with it on your phone, etc., and see, how that works. It's very, very simple. When you go there, it's going to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, where do you want us to send the information? Just give us your email address and bam, you're in. Number 2, how much you want to pay? No questions asked. No questions asked. So you say, yeah, I know retails for $2,000, but I want to pay $200. That's cool. No one's going to push back. No one's going to say that's not enough. Only 2 questions. So you go to samchand.com/COVID. And I think your listeners, Winning Wednesdays, this is a great resource for them to have a 12-month leadership program, comes right in their inbox, and they're good. So that's all I have to give you. I have nothing to sell you. I have some things to give you. So let me conclude by asking a simple question. And then I will throw the ball back at you, Lady Pam, and you conclude it any way you want to. If your boss, if your pastor, if your CEO, if your supervisor was to double your salary, number 1, what one goal do you think she or he wants you to achieve? What's the one goal that she or he wants you to achieve? And number 2 of that same question is, how will you do that? So if I was your boss and I was to double your salary, what is the one reason you can give me? One goal that you think I want you to accomplish that'll make me say, Lady Pam, you're making 100 grand. Starting today, you're going to start making 200 grand. What is that one goal that you think that your boss, your pastor, your CEO, your supervisor wants to accomplish, that'll make them say, I want to double that person's salary. And how are you going to do that? That's the mindset. Because what you're doing now is you are trying to extrapolate what is in somebody else's mind as what's important to them, as to what they want to see accomplished. And when you do that, everything, good thing comes back to you. So renew your mind, think about how can I help somebody else succeed? How can I achieve somebody else's goal? And success is running its way toward you. Lady Pam, it's been great to be with you. Thank you for this opportunity, and may winning ways keep on winning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chan. And I was thinking, we are part of that book club too as well.
Good.
We have quite a few books now, and the information is wonderful, it's great. I can't think of the smaller book. I think it says Success something, but I really enjoyed that book. It has great tidbits in there, just, you know, on a personal level and on a corporate level. So thank you so much for that. Of course, we'll put that information out there. Now, let me ask you, with the availjournal.com, will people have to put in a code or anything? They'll know when they check out, it'll be free.
Very simple, very simple.
Yes.
You just go there, tell us where to send it, and that's it. No
Awesome.
code, no nothing, just very, very simple. We're not trying to get into your business. We're just saying, here it is. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to conclude just a couple of quick announcements, and then we'll conclude this particular segment. Give me 1 second. All right. So everyone, please make sure you join us every Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. We'll be resuming studying the scriptures on the 18th. We'll be resuming on the 18th. So make sure you look at us then at 11 o'clock a.m. Also, the prayer room call is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. That number is 727-731-0433. Don't forget to make sure you are on the call for that. And then Pastor Mace is on One Place. Please go to your web browser, oneplace.com. Go to your app store, download One Place, and then you can hear all the great teachings that are going forth. Do a search for James H. Mason III, and you'll be able to see all of the sermons and all of the lessons that he has been teaching in this great opportunity. He's there along with other Christian broadcasters. So make sure you make him your favorite ministry that you listen to. And then join us next Wednesday. We have Dr. Cook, who is going to be teaching us how to have a new body. He's going to help us to get our bodies right. As you see, we have a great lineup for this month of January. We have Tanisha Felton, who's going to be talking about, she's going to help us get our credit straight, excuse me. And then we have Stephen Thurston, who's going to be talking about new relationships. So great information is going to be going forth all month long. Thank you so much for each of you all for joining us. And then don't forget, this Saturday, y'all, we have our entrepreneur extravaganza. All of you who are business owners, all of you who have a business, you are in the process of trying to get your business up and at them. These people are great. They're going to talk to you about your vision and your goals. That's Corvance Ross. Miss Sarita Talbert is going to talk about helping you set up your business financially. Katrina Brown is going to be talking about trademarking your business, making sure your name is legit. And then Shada Spice is going to talk about communication, how you need to communicate your business. Stephen Thurston is going to talk about customer service. So important to have great customer service when you have a business. And Sam Glickman, who is a successful business owner, is going to show how it works, how it looks when we put it all together. So we look forward to seeing you guys in any of these particular events that we have going on. Make sure you share it. We are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on My Sunday. Don't forget that app, guys. Download the My Sunday app, and then you can locate Birmingham Bible Church. It also has our events. Also, go to our website at bhambc.org, which also tells about ways to give, all of the events that we have going on, so that you can always stay abreast and posted of what's going on with Birmingham Bible Church. Thank you so much, Dr. Chan, for joining us today. Thank you for all of that great information. It was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Let's just put it out there and help a lot of people.
Yes, sir. I believe you are. Thank you so much.
Lord bless.
Have a great day. God bless you too.
You too. Bye-bye.